currently dealing with conversations that keep derailing and labels that land like blows, then this is for you. Enjoy. The Lantern of Warm Words. Vaikharī, speech, kindness. Dear adventurer, Prem lived in a town where words were stickers. People wore them like armor. Always, never, too much. One windy evening, Prem found an old lantern with a tiny engraving. Speech, kindness, vaikharī. When he lit it, the flame hummed like a lullaby, and the stickers on his coat softened at the edges. He could feel the ocean under the waves. He remembered, words are the surface, truth is the sea beneath. The next morning, Prem met a friend at the market. She grumbled, "You're always late." The old sticker tried to jump from her mouth to his chest. Prem felt the pinch. And then the lantern warmed his hand. He paused. He listened to the living moment. Birds, footsteps, the honest thump of his heart. "I hear you," he said, "and I'm here now." The sticker fell, and in its place came kind speech. Not a trick, just a truer line. By the river, a willow whispered an old lesson. Your words ride four currents, surface talk, busy thoughts, old convictions, and the bright quiet at the root. Dip your cup deeper before you speak. Prem understood. If he wanted speech with kindness, he had to feel the deep first, then let the surface talk be a bridge, not a bar. He practiced kindness in speech, speaking kindly, speech that carries kindness. The town felt warmer. Arguments cooled faster. People started checking the facts before throwing stickers. One night, a child cried, "Am I bad?" Prem knelt. "No, little star. A word tried to be the whole sky. It isn't. You're the sky." The lantern brightened. The child breathed easier, and the town learned to spell. Feel, then speak. See, then name. Labels grew lighter. Truth got closer. Love sounded like ordinary sentences that matched what was actually there. Carry this with you, adventurer. When a sticker appears, warm it with the lantern. Look under it and choose speech, kindness. That's how words become doors. Vaikharī, speech, kindness. So a little into the embodiment mantra. Speech, kindness, vaikharī. Vak meaning speech, word, voiced expression. Maitri meaning loving kindness, friendly warmth. Vaikharī redirects speech to serve the heart. Repeating it softens the pushy, dividing habits of surface language and invites the deeper levels of the word. Okay, so in tantric teachings there are 4 levels of the word, and the corporeal word, vaikharī, is the surface. These are the words that we speak, underneath which there are the thoughts that we have, then the subconscious where beliefs live, and then the ultimate, the true layer of the word. Vaikharī is helpful for pointing, unhelpful when treated as the whole sea. Human language is dualistic by design. Each word picks one meaning by excluding others. So this is saying that words implicitly are dualistic, because to point to one thing means to completely disregard everything that is not. And when we forget this, we take symbols, the words, as static facts, breeding fundamentalism and harm. So we point to a particular thing and believe that that word and that thing represents the totality of all that is, but actually it's just a representation of a very small sliver of the totality of existence. Practice is remembering that ordinary speech is shaped by subtler strata, thought, deep conviction, and luminous awareness. Transforming speech sustainably means tending these depths, not just swapping vocabulary. Words are actions, patterns of energy that shape our experience in others. Using them with care turns language into service. Our maps keep learning from the landscape. Our labels stay light. Our conversations rejoin reality. This is speaking into how we forget that the words we use and the things we point to are merely representational of the experience that we're having. They can't encapsulate what it is that we experience. They're simply approximations. Even scriptural word is pointing to something that is a placeholder for embodied experience. And so there's that idea of fundamentalism where we take the word as literal, where it's actually just representational, can create damage. And the words that we speak, the spells that we cast, can also create damage. And this is why it's so important to be able to speak from truth rather than from surface level, and getting so consumed by the label we believe ourselves to be, the thing that we're pointing towards, rather than the actual truth, the essence of who we are, what is that fundamental, divine, universal, unified one consciousness that's just represented in all of these different ways. Language inherently encourages us to forget that, because when we label ourselves as man, as woman, as husband, as father, as son, as daughter, we see ourselves as that thing, as that label, as that slice of consciousness rather than consciousness itself. And therein lies the importance of, one, being conscious of the words that we use, the spells that we cast, the reality that we manifest, but also a remembrance that those things are simply representational. They're useful stickers, if you will, that allow us to navigate the complexity of life and compartmentalize it into useful, bounded segmentation, division. But not to forget that the division isn't what is what's beneath, and that's the unification. Not getting so caught up in the words pointed to, but understanding the truth beneath. It's said in Tantra that ignorance to the truth of what is what creates suffering, and so to liberate oneself from suffering is to be in acknowledgement, alignment, and appreciation of truth. And truth isn't what's pointed to, it's what's experienced. So, food for thought there.